Happy always to talk to the one and only James O'Keefe, the founder of Project Veritas, man, of course, credited with exposing and taking down ACORN, under the ACORN name anyway. And hello, James. Say hello to Mary as well.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm good, James. Pleasure to meet you.
All right, James, welcome back. And your latest video, I do want to let the folks see something here before we get started in earnest, so here we go.
On April 25th, 2014, two video journalists went undercover at the Variety magazine event in New York City, attended by celebrities like Oprah's confidant Gayle King, Hollywood actress Claire Danes, and the Oscar-winning Hollywood legend Susan Sarandon.
All right, now, this comes on the heels, what we're going to discuss now, of you exposing other celebrities, Miss Hemingway and a couple of others. You have this man posing as an oil-rich guy who says to them, and this is it in a nutshell as far as I can interpret it in layman's terms, and I know I'm underrepresenting it. Hey, how about we make a movie, we go into cahoots together, we'll call it anti-fracking, but really I don't give a darn about fracking. I just want to have the United States not be energy independent. I want them to depend on me for oil, so I'll get rich. So how about we work together? Is that what's going on here?
Exactly. We had a Middle Eastern guy by the name of Mohammed bin Rashidi pose as a Middle Eastern oil tycoon, reach out to these celebrities and say, I don't care about the environment. I only care about enriching my pockets because we want to stop American energy independence so that I can export more oil. So they're working with someone who is a oil tycoon, a pro-fracker, to end fracking in the United States.
And what's the role of Susan Sarandon in all this at this point?
So Susan Sarandon, we went undercover, met with her, and she, in fact, introduced Mohammed, our fictitious Muslim oil tycoon, to her activism manager, a guy by the name of Chris Talbert. And we met with Sarandon's people and Chris Talbert at a restaurant in New York and filmed the whole meeting. And Talbert was talking to us about, he understands our need to protect our bottom line. He said that, your interests and my interest overlap, your interest being stopping American energy independence. And he said that I can keep a secret, and that Susan Sarandon, because he represented her, had already put the pieces together. So he's talking about accepting $4.5 million and even sent us a follow-up email in order to get this transaction going and keep this money secret from the American people. And this comes on the heels of the United States Senate issuing a statement about this investigation we've done, particularly about how they keep their funding anonymous, these Hollywood people, and they lie to their audiences about where that funding comes from. They say it comes from nonprofits and NGOs, when in fact it comes from the Middle East.
James, let me ask you, you get it on tape, you've got these people flat out showing their hand. The hypocrisy is just unbelievable. Anybody can see it, but yet those who support these causes, it doesn't stop them. The hypocrisy is not seen to them. What needs to be done for people to really see this for what it is? Because the videotape doesn't convince them.
Well, that's a good point. How do you force people to pay attention? Usually after some of our videos, there's some type of reaction or some type of result, like the Academy Awards would have to ditch Ed Begley Jr., who's on this tape. And in this case, we haven't gotten a statement from the Academy Awards, but we did get a statement from Josh Tickell, one of the filmmakers, who actually doubled down on his statements and said publicly on Canadian television this week that all he cares about is if the check cashes. And I do think this video is resonating with people. It is showing people that there's hypocrisy. Josh Fox, another filmmaker, has actually criticized Josh Tickell for his actions in the tape. So they may not be outwardly saying that they're outraged. Of course, they're going to attack me, but privately, they're discussing amongst themselves just how disgusted they are with one another. So we're sort of dividing and conquering, many in the Hollywood left community.
Now, Chris Talbert is the representative of Susan Sarandon, who actually met with you, I believe. And I think the key here is, because I don't know that he agreed to do anything, and he, in fact, expressed concerns that Susan might have if this got out, etc. But he did agree to a meeting after knowing what the goal of this man was, that it was to line his own pockets you know, and kind of, you know, make believe it's about fracking.
Yeah, not only did he agree to a meeting, he also agreed to keep the whole thing secret. You know, he said it's important to keep a secret, even though Susan, in his words, had quote already put the pieces together. And it wasn't so much that he was concerned about the source of the funding. He was concerned about Susan Sarandon getting caught red-handed, people knowing that she was conspiring with someone in the Middle East. And that's what it comes down to. These people don't care about taking money from a Middle Eastern oil tycoon. In fact, they have. Promised Land was funded by Image Nation Abu Dhabi, which was a wholly owned subsidiary of the United Arab Emirates. Their concern is just in getting caught. And what the Senate is interested in, and David Vitter's office is particularly interested in on this investigation, is are they deceiving their audience by trying to influence the 2016 election through nonprofits and NGO groups, and when in fact 40% of Hollywood movies are funded by the Middle East? Now, this is a legitimate national security concern. It's a concern for whether or not people know where the money is coming from. So unfortunately, we couldn't follow up with that meeting on Chris Talbot because the first video broke in France 2 weeks ago. So I was unable to get that second meeting, but I wish I did. I wish we were able to take this down the rabbit hole even farther.
And what about Hemingway? I know that she actually denied some of the things that she was caught on tape saying. So where does she stand in all this?
I mean,
She actually
it's an unbelievable.
she actually spoke. She was there on the tape, one of your tapes,
Yeah.
as opposed to Susan Sarandon.
Well, Susan Sarandon did meet Muhammad, and she did hear his concern about my motivation is to help my bottom line. And then so we actually did meet with, it's on the video, we met with Susan Sarandon, but we also met with Mariel Hemingway, granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway, Academy Award nominated actress. You know, she actually has said some absurd things. She said that she didn't know the guy was in oil, when in the tape, clearly he says, I'm in oil, I want to protect my bottom line. So I juxtaposed those statements together. She was just caught red-handed. She's a celebrity who doesn't present herself very well on television, and you know we've caught her in a lie, and it's an obvious lie. And Howard Kurtz, who used to be of CNN, invited her on the show to just lie to everyone, and Howard did not invite me on. I would have loved the opportunity to come on these programs. Unfortunately, I'm kind of considered controversial. They don't invite me on TV among these celebrities, but she clearly in the video knows that he's from the Middle East, knows that he's trying to help his bottom line. Mariel even says, I'll be your secret American wife. This is what she says in the video. She says, I'll be your secret American wife, and you know, no one beyond this table will know that we're accepting this Middle Eastern oil money. And then she goes on Fox News and says, I didn't even know he was from an oil company. So I don't know how it can possibly get more hypocritical than that.
So let me ask you, where do you think this is going to wind up as opposed to where do you hope it winds up?
You know, as a journalist, I can only present people with the facts. I think that our journalism speaks volumes greater than written reporting because you catch it on tape. But unfortunately, things have gotten so bad in our country at this point. The IRS is auditing and harassing people. You know, the NSA is spying on you, and many people still don't care. I think we just need to shock people's consciences by continuing to do this type of reporting and hope that people will notice, and people have noticed. I mean, the video has hundreds of thousands of views. People are outraged with Ed Begley Jr. and Mariel Hemingway's conduct. They've contacted them. The Hollywood Reporter has broken the story. This is a mainstream outlet. We're doing the best we can to educate people about the issues and let them know the truth about what's going on. What people do with that information, it's up to democracy. It's up to the people to make their own decisions. Hollywood's a very powerful force. You know, politics is downstream from culture, so I think it's important for us to expose the cultural elites and whose interests they're representing.
And James, I think we have part of that Mariel Hemingway video, so let's let this roll.
Washington, D.C. continues fracking. America will be energy efficient, and then they won't need our oil anymore.
I can be the secret American one.
Okay. Knowing where the money comes from
Is only at this table.
Yeah, that's part of what you're talking about there.
She says
It
the
is
money only at that table. She's reiterating the importance of not letting anybody know where that money comes from. And then she says on Fox News, it's in the second video, you can watch it, she says, I didn't even know he was from a Middle Eastern oil company. She's just lying to
And then you play back the tape and show it. Yeah, yeah, pretty revealing. Hey, James, always good to talk to you, sir. Good luck, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you, James O'Keefe. Fascinating. You know, everybody's got to be. He's just an extension of the culture. Everybody's got to be assuming, in my view, that you're always being taped.
But here's the thing: is they don't. They think they're so far above it.
Especially in Hollywood elite.
Right,
Yeah.
But what kills me is people believe what they want to believe. People are so entrenched in their feelings. And it feels right, or fracking feels wrong, that none of that matters. And that's why I asked him, where does he think it's going to wind up?
Right,
because where we think it should wind up and what is just isn't
Two
necessarily
different
what's going to
things,
happen.
absolutely. All right, when we come back, General Paul E. Vallely will join me to discuss D-Day and what it means to him and what he remembers from back then, and honor those who did serve. So stay where you are on the Steve Malzberg Show.